piece of me?
Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Good morning, Vietnam! I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I feel the need for speed.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
You do. You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
What is up, guys? We are here, the Cine-Men movie podcast, here to talk about 2001's Donnie Darko. But guess what? I'm one of your hosts, Zach. I'm with my good friends, Ed.
How's it going, folks?
Craig.
He might not be able to hear us yet.
Yeah, that's all right. Craig will be here momentarily, just getting home from work. But let's start off with just, general thought. How's everybody doing? Had a good weekend?
Not too shabby. I'm kind of watching a place over at work, so not too shabby. Getting to be a big boy for a month, so not too shabby.
You're a big boy now, is what you're telling the crowd?
I'm a big boy. But yeah, it's not too shabby. Yeah, the weekend was good, man. We got some warmer weather. We don't have ice or snow or real cold weather.
Finally.
So that's nice. How was yours?
It was pretty good, man. It was kind of a laid-back week. Went and saw a movie, which I will talk about here in recent watches here in a little bit. Tomorrow's my 31st birthday, man. That's kind of hard to believe.
31, man. You and Craig
it's not that
so
big
young.
of a deal, but hey, listen, what are you going to be in May, fool?
Oh, I said young. I didn't say old.
No, but
32.
In all seriousness, though, we have a great show for you guys today. We're talking Ed, one of your favorite movies. I think you've been trying to get this movie on the podcast for a long time.
Yeah, I think a year and a half, 2 years. Because I was just like, dude, this is like literally my favorite movie. So,
yeah, we're gonna get into it. Craig, you here with us?
Yeah, I am here.
How's your week, man?
Oh, my week has been busy. I have attended 5 birthdays. I had one birthday of my own for my daughter.
There you go.
So just been busy hanging out with her and everybody else and getting all that going.
Awesome. I remember you telling us last couple of years, it's February is just a hectic month. I think you have a birthday every week or something like that.
There's 12 birthdays in a span of 3 weeks.
Oh, wow.
And it's all immediate family. Brothers, daughters, father-in-law, grandmothers. It's a lot.
So my birthday doesn't count. Mine's tomorrow.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Immediate family. So that's 13.
Yeah. 13, man.
The C&P family.
Well, guys, let's get into it. You guys have any recent watches you guys want to talk about, whether it be movies, television, played any games, anything like that? Ed, you want to go?
Mainly, been watching The Office. I've been watching it for a couple weeks now. My wife has never seen it at all. And now she's cried 7 or 8 times, I think. Now she's half addicted to it just because, this will be my third watch, full watch for that matter. I think we are on season 7 now, if I'm not mistaken. So
wow, you guys are just going through it.
We're watching quite a few episodes, yes.
Nice. Craig, what about you? Anything you want to mention?
Yeah, so we actually watched, we've been waiting on it, me and my daughter, Lyle Crocodile.
Oh, yeah?
Came out over the weekend on Netflix. We wanted to go see it in theaters, but we just never were able to get around to it. It was, Sony shot it. I mean, the camera quality is very good. It just doesn't look right with those Sony cameras. But other than that, enjoyed Shawn Mendes as the crocodile. Some of the other cast felt a little off, but overall, it was a good movie, great movie for her. And
good.
Then just watching The Last of Us. Man, I'm hooked on The Last of Us, dude. It's great.
Where would you rank that in the Pixar scale, you know? Like the Pixar spectrum, where would you rank it? Like, is it Toy Story or is it just like
what?
Lyle.
Yeah,
It's not a Pixar movie.
Yeah, it's
no,
not
I know, but I'm saying
like
as
kids
in
movies.
Pixar, you know, like
it's low.
Very low.
It's not Pixar quality. I'll tell you that. It's not Pixar.
Fair enough. Okay, so
I gotcha.
not even on the at all.
When I'm going to think about Pixar movies, you know, I can't even think of one that I would choose to put under it. You know what I mean? Like I think that's just the standard of Pixar movies. I don't think that's necessarily saying that the movie is bad. It's just Pixar's just so good.
A standard.
Yeah. It's a different type of film, especially with kids films. So yeah, I agree, man. The Last of Us, it's just one of those shows that like Ed, have you got a chance to watch it yet?
Not yet. With The Office, we haven't, or I haven't.
I don't know about you, Craig, but it's just I enjoy television again. Like I look forward to Sundays and seeing the new episodes.
Yeah, it's
okay.
And I feel like this is something that HBO specifically is doing very well.
Yes,
they have not brought back, but these last couple shows. I mean, House of Dragon, Last of Us. I think they're coming out with another one. They're doing these shows right, and they're doing them justice. They're not just putting them out for content because they have subscribers. They're putting them out because they want to tell the story.
Exactly.
And that's the difference. It's not for content. It's not to please subscribers. It's because they have a vision and they want to put it out there.
Yeah. And the best thing about it, Ed, I think you would like it because it's from one of the creators of Chernobyl, which I think you really enjoyed that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, and the best thing about it is I know it's a video game adaptation, but you don't even have to play the video game. It's such a fun, very intense show that, you can, like, I think, Craig, you said that you haven't played the game, but you kind of get a general sense of where this is going.
I started playing it.
Nice.
After episode 2, I dove in for a little bit. But yeah, the show does such a great job of giving you like a brief 10-minute introduction to what the show is going to be about, and then it's off and running.
Yeah.
And it's tremendous job on telling the story.
Absolutely. I think the new episode, because of the Super Bowl, they didn't want to compete. I think it airs this Friday actually instead of Sunday. So Friday. Speaking of, did you watch the Pro Bowl, Craig? Did you get a chance? No.
NFC took it.
Nope.
Not by much.
Look, I'll put it this way. Even if I wasn't busy, I wasn't checking out the Pro Bowl.
Fair. I guess any predictions? Who's going to win, Chiefs or Eagles?
I'm going with Eagles.
Eagles?
I've been feeling Chiefs.
What you feel is what you feel.
I feel like, but now I'm like, you know what? I think the Eagles are the more all-around team. I won't be surprised if Patrick Mahomes comes out and pulls something miraculous in the fourth quarter or something.
Yeah,
it's either way for that matter. This is kind of a team, a game that can go either way for that matter. The Eagles, have been dominant on offense. Defense has been one of the best around easily this year. But like you just said, Patrick Mahomes, that dude is
he can do miracles, man.
Well, he's a one-man walking Madden character. Like, the guy can be inches above the ground and throw a perfect spiral 45 yards out of nowhere. And then, I mean, he doesn't have, say, like a Tyreek Hill anymore at the moment, but his receiver group is still very, very good. And then the defense isn't something to be ashamed of either. Like, but I don't know, man. I think the Cowboys defense is a better defense than the Chiefs have.
Yeah.
And the Eagles have been beat by them once and have beaten them once.
Yep.
So there's that. The Chiefs, I mean, I'm a Broncos guy, so there's that. But the Broncos have almost come to beat the Chiefs this year. Very close games. They still got beat, but it wasn't that by a big margin. So
I'll say this: the Eagles' defense really showed out last week against the Niners. I mean, the edges put a lot of pressure on Brock Purdy for the time he was out there, and then the backups the rest of the way. But there's just something about having that connection that Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce have.
Yeah.
For the moments like the Super Bowl, you have to have somebody who's on the same wavelength as you every single time you're out on the field. And that's something that Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes have. And, that's just – it's something that, like, X's and O's are going to be – you're the two best teams in the league.
Yeah,
so, of course, the X's and O's be pretty much, the same. But it's that connection that I don't think Jalen Hurts has quite as well with his receiving core that them two do specifically.
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing is like the Kelce brothers are basically going against each other, and they said the only one that's going to be winning is the mother because she's going to have a son that wins a Super Bowl. So
yeah, there's a petition out there a petition yesterday had 100,000 people signing for her to do the coin toss.
Yeah, that'd be funny. That'd be awesome. So yeah, Super Bowl on Sunday. We'll obviously, it's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top. My recent watches, I watched, just trying to get through a couple more 2022 movies before we do our top 5+5 of the year. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, which was an excellent, really good animated film. I understand why it's winning all the animated awards. Went and saw Knock at the Cabin, M. Night Shyamalan's new movie. Very decent, honestly. The cinematography and Batista, he was actually very, very good in this, to be honest. I put it, probably below Signs and Split, but probably in the top 3, top 5 of his career.
Huh.
And then on Peacock, Devotion, the Jonathan Majors, Glenn Powell, war movie, the fighter pilot, very, very good. I highly, highly recommend that. And She Said, the Harvey Weinstein, about the two reporters that kind of broke the case about Miramax and the Weinstein situation. So check out Devotion, She Said on Peacock, and Knock at the Cabin in the theaters. So,
I'm excited to finally sit down and watch Devotion. I had a chance to watch it a week or so ago. But I want it on the biggest screen with the biggest sound system that I have. I just feel like it's going to be one of those movies.
Truthfully, man, when I was over, I was sad that I didn't get to see that in the theater. That would have been a really cool experience.
And it wasn't in the theaters for that long.
No.
You would think with Jonathan Majors and the guy from Top Gun, it would be in there a little bit longer, but it wasn't.
It came out during Thanksgiving weekend when 80 movies come out, and people wanted to go see it.
New Year's.
Yeah, Black Panther was still out, and it was smushed in between Black Panther and Avatar. So, it is what it is. But Ed, you want to talk about social media, how you can reach out to us if you would like?
Man, you've got tons of ways to get to us. We are on Spotify, the easiest way to get to us. I promise you, the Cine-Men movie podcast. CINEMEN movie podcast, facebook.com/the Cine-Men movie podcast, Instagram /the Cine-Men movie podcast, Twitter /Cine-Men405, email us at cinemen921@gmail.com. Man, if you can't reach us, you're not trying. Okay, so we take requests, we take different things in the notes. We want you to go ahead and interact with us because we love that interaction. Currently it is stopped for just a little bit, but it does not mean we do not get y'all's emails or anything like that, or it does not mean that we don't look forward to every one of you. Without y'all, you specifically, it wouldn't be as fun. In all honesty, this guy makes it fun, that guy makes it fun, and the other dude makes it fun too, for me. But it's kind of, hearing y'all's thoughts on this stuff. So keep pushing out, and heck, comment over here, help.
Yeah. I totally agree with you, Ed. We love the interaction with our fans and our listeners. We probably won't do mailbag this month just because of just some things that came up, and it's just kind of a crazy month for everybody.
Personal business.
Please, please keep sending them every movie we do. You want to talk about the Super Bowl? You want to talk about recent watches? Please let us know.
Yeah, kick your Super Bowl predictions in. There's 1 week until 1 week You've got a whole week to message us and say, yo, Chiefs are smacking Eagles, or Eagles are going and grabbing everybody up. It doesn't matter. Go ahead and let us know.
All right, guys, dear listeners, it is time. It is time to talk about one of Ed's favorite movies. We're talking about Donnie Darko from 2001. Had a release date of October.
That looks familiar.
It technically had it was introduced at Sundance January the 19th, but it was actually released theatrically October the 26th with an all-star cast that includes Jake Gyllenhaal, Jenna Malone, Maggie Gyllenhaal, James Duvall, Drew Barrymore, Mary McDonnell, Catherine Ross, Patrick Swayze, and Noah Weil. Currently, this film is 87% on Rotten Tomatoes, 8 out of 10 on IMDb, and a 92% Google user liking. Let's get into it, guys. Ed, I want to start with you because, like I said on the top of the show, you've been trying to get to do this movie for a long time, probably since the podcast started, to be honest. And you remember the first time you watched it and compared to this last watching it?
Probably 03, 04, somewhere around there. It was on DVD. I know that for that matter. I liked the cover. I thought it was cool. So there's that part. But I think it was because of teenage angst that I really found this movie and really kind of wanted to watch it and fell in love with it. Over time, I've realized how much of a beautiful, tragic, and just wonderful film this has become. And I mean, with Jake Gyllenhaal, I think he does a very, very good performance. You got Seth Rogen, if I'm not mistaken, in like his first film. Patrick Swayze, Drew Barrymore. Like back then, I could care less about Patrick Swayze and Drew Barrymore. Don't get me wrong, wonderful actors, but at the time, I wasn't thinking about them. I didn't even know Maggie Gyllenhaal was his actual little sister. I was just like, dude, it's the dude from Bubble Boy. Like, what is this? So yeah, man. Compared to now, nostalgia feeling, but at the same time, kind of like I love the time aspect of it now, especially the kind of investigation in a way, as well as the psychological thriller that I guess it is. It's an awesome movie. I personally, I love it. I mean, whether you hate it, whether you love it, I don't care. It's cool. That's your opinion, 100%. But I love this movie.
Yeah, for me, this is it was kind of a tricky film. And ultimately, we'll get into it, but it's a film that I think had such a high expectation going in because I just heard so much about it, and I'm pretty sure I saw it before this, but the first time I actually remember seeing it in its entirety was in a in a college psychology class. We did like a psychology in the media, and the professor took different disorders and psychological problems and matched up a film with it, and this one was for schizophrenia. So I watched this movie through the eyes of that, and it's actually very entertaining and kind of mysterious in different ways. But as a film, overall, I wouldn't say it's, I'm not on the same level as you, Ed, but I agree it's an interesting film.
Oh yeah.
What about you, Craig?
Yeah. So the first time I saw the cover of this movie, of course, I was in elementary school, and a friend of mine, his brother had the movie, and I was just like, yo, that looks like a creepy movie, and he was all about it. Fast forward to like 2010 to 2011, I actually sat down and watched it. Johnny had talked about it, and I was like, you know what, it looks like one of those movies that I might like. First initial watch, I was just kind of like, okay, this is weird, but it was intriguing. Second watch, I was just like, the way it was shot, the way it was told, I just personally, I love everything about this movie. I do like Ed said, the kind of feeling that they dive in through for Jake Gyllenhaal's character, the relationships that he goes through, I feel like this movie has one it tells one story, but along the way, there's so many different branches of what you can take pieces from in this movie that you can always find something new when you watch it. And, something that we kind of break down with, where it's like, we saw Glass Onion, and there's really not much that you could go back and find when you watch it again. But with Donnie Darko, there's always something new. You can enjoy it for the original story that they're trying to tell. You can enjoy it for the side plots that they talk about, the music, the it's just beautifully shot, in my opinion. The movie as a whole is really good.
Even the 90s slang that they use, man.
Yeah.
Because you don't hear people, no duh, kind of things today, just those little quips.
Yeah. It's very of its time, but I think, and what's interesting is that when the movie started and it showed like the production studios, I don't know about you guys, but I thought this has A24 written all over it. Like this could have been like the original A24
predecessor
movie. Yeah.
Man, I mean, okay, so you've got this kid that essentially is, just sleepwalking. And I sleepwalked a lot when I was a kid. I did, and I can relate to a few things that he goes through. Just little things like that. Exactly. Mine was named Jim Bob. He was 10 feet tall. No, I'm kidding about all of that. But no, I slept long, so I thought that was interesting. And I was like, oh, okay, so I'm not fully alone, but this guy's kind of borderline psychotic. So it's just like, do I really want to connect myself to this guy? And it's kind of, because like what Craig said, you've got the different stories that are told, except for the main branch. It's like, forgive me, I know I'm probably going to get hate for this, but Skyrim in a way. Because you've got the main bridge of Skyrim, but you can go over and pick Patrick Swayze out, and you can see his fear and love, kind of thing, and get to understand. And even, okay, so when he was on the golf course, and then Patrick Swayze and the other guy from Donnie Darko's neighborhood is looking down at him, and he's like, hey, that's Darko's kid. That's Donnie Darko. Mm-hmm. Doesn't remember his name at all. Doesn't care, my name's Gerald. Like, or you can, oh, go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was just going to say and I think that's what this movie succeeds at the most, is just this constant battle between, is he schizophrenic? Is he a paranoid schizophrenic that, is dealing with these hallucinations, or is there something more going on? Is there something like a warning at some point, which is basically what it is?
And see, like, I like to look into theories of movies or theories of shows for that matter. And I don't know if either of y'all have heard this. Craig, you might have. But the theory of, of course, time travel's talked about this, but they're saying it's even more because, as you know, it dates, October 2nd is the first time, and the end of the world is supposed to come on October 30th, and he dates, 28 days, 46, what is it, 28 days, 46 minutes?
28 days, 6 hours, 42 minutes, and 12 seconds.
And all that, and it's just like, okay, I'd kind of like look at it and say, how, why, what's happening? But at the same time, people are like, okay, look at it like this, and I know this is going to be kind of whatever, but think of it in a, what is that? The in-game kind of thing, the time travel of in-game.
Time jumps, yeah.
This is a section kind of like
the time branches. The branching of the timeline. Yeah.
Yes, because he was supposed to die. He was supposed to die. So literally, when Frank intervened and made him sleepwalk all the way to the golf course, it intervened and it created a different time jump or time branch or whatever you want to call it. And that time branch leads to so many different other little seeds being dropped and all that. But to fix that time branch, to make that time branch go back in with the tree, in this metaphor, you have to go ahead and get Donnie to go back and die, essentially. And people are like, the black hole is going to kill the original tree. It's the branch that is severed off that he's in, because when we get to this universe, I'm going to use, it's the eye with the symbol or the mask in his area, or in his black area in his eye. And that's what starts this off, because you get that creepy, eerie music at first for a little bit. You get the eye, and it expands very largely. It, and it's just off to the races after that, and different little weird things happen, such as the bathroom talks with Frank, for that matter, where he can't go beyond an invisible
Force
barrier.
Yeah.
Exactly, a force field. And he's even trying at one point to stab the force field to see if it'll break at any point, or if something different can go ahead and interact. And even throughout part of the film, it says that water and metal are the ways to time travel, apparently, are the tools for time traveling. And it doesn't explain what metal does, but it explains that water is like a barrier in between two voyages, or in between a tangent voyage. I'm sorry. And it's to me, it's like, it's just the same thing as the mirror that Patrick Swayze's Jim character keeps talking about. To go through the mirror, you need to look through the mirror, not just look at, but look through the mirror. And it's also, it's kind of like he's talking about the story and knows about it, but of course he doesn't. But even the therapist is just like, dude's seeing shit. Like, I don't know what to do for him other than up his dosage. And it's kind of like, maybe that's not it.
What do you think, Craig? Do you enjoy like the is it not, or like the overall like twist of it? I guess is it really is.
Yeah, I mean, like Ed said, there's so many different kind of things that people think this movie is kind of pointing to and talking about, and you can dive in so many different ways with how you want to interpret this movie. I'm still, I wasn't able to get a recent watch for this due to all the stuff I had going this week, but I still wanted to talk about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like every time you watch it, you can go in and pick something else out and be like, maybe it's actually talking about this. Maybe it's talking about that. And like, that's what's so intriguing about it, is you get new ideas every time you watch it. You're not going in, you're like, oh, I've seen this movie 10 times, but I really enjoy it. It's like, you're locked in because you can still find new pieces.
You can get a different interpretation each time. Like on this time, I didn't realize that Jake Gyllenhaal and all his friends are actually going to, I guess, is it a Christian school or a Catholic school or something like that?
It's a private school for sure. I don't remember if they stated that it's a specific religious school or anything like that, but
I think it's just a private school. But I didn't realize how much, I don't want to say religion, but like spirituality played in this movie, especially with the gym teacher. Like, you have the scene where, she's trying to get Jake Gyllenhaal to do fear or love. And it's just like, it's not that complicated. There's different aspects to life. It's not just it's on this scale.
Or it's not just that simple. It's way more complicated than that, for that matter. You can't just say black and white and that's all there is.
Yeah.
It's so much gray matter through it that it's not even funny, I mean, yeah, if the kid Ling returns the wallet and doesn't steal the money, that is the better thing, and she may or may not get a tip or a reward. But at the same time, they could be like, "Thanks, kid, get out of my face," kind of thing. Or maybe it's a person that is a child kidnapper. I don't know.
And I think a lot of people, more so now than back in the day, just more people are willing to talk about things they feel and things they see, and I think in this movie everybody just seems to be so kind of glazed over, and they're okay with the normal, they're okay with everything going on, whereas he's just like questioning every single thing, like, why are you teaching me love, it's only these two paths, when clearly there's a range of emotions that you can be choosing from in your day-to-day interactions.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of it has to deal, kind of like with what I said earlier, teenage angst, but at the same time trying to figure out life for yourself.
Yeah,
because all of us have gone through that at one point in time. Maybe we still are, for that matter. Because whether you believe in what you believe in, or whether you believe in what Sally and James believe in, that's cool. But at the same time, who are you is what you need to figure out. But I mean, with this movie, you know, I feel kind of like the gym teacher pushed the what did they call it, the seminar stuff on the kids too much, and I'd be kind of be like,
Jim
why
Cunningham.
yes why is this, you know, necessary to your course? Why aren't they doing things? Why aren't they up playing kickball or volleyball or basketball or something, you know, running suicides?
And that's the thing, because it's just like Patrick Swayze in this movie,
he's
creepy. He's very creepy, and it's always, and I don't want this to come off as bad, but like those type of people that are like in this, like not all of them, but you know, the select few that are into spirituality or trying to promote something, they always have a dark secret, you know, like with him or in child pornography or anything like that.
So I think, you know, again, it's all interpretation. Who knows what the director was trying to put across? Maybe he feels like that's what everybody feels, but my interpretation is there's always going to be wolves dressed up as sheep. You know what I mean? Like there's always going to be somebody impersonating somebody, specifically people in the church, because they know that it's an easy way to shield themselves from what they have. And it sucks that they're choosing that path, but you know, I don't want to get too deep into what I believe and what I feel, but it's just, it's an easy way for them to kind of cloak all of their things. They're not really people of the church. They're just using it to kind of shadow what they really are.
Exactly.
Which, I mean, a lot of this is not really what it is, or not really what they want them to take to be perceived as, for that matter. Because I mean, the gym teacher is, you know, using the book, and I mean, essentially, she is correct with that. With I forget what it is, whatever book it was, but the book that told about the kids breaking into the house and destroying it from the inside out and all that.
Yeah,
essentially, she's correct.
The Destructors. That's what it's called, the Destructors.
Yeah, because I mean, literally, you know, I don't know if Frank used it as that or if that was meant to mirror that, but it is essentially what happened. You know, to where, you know, the biggest thing that was a difference was the axe in the statue.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, you've got different things of different ways of thinking about it. Because I mean, even in the Grandma Death's story, you know, when she comes up to him and goes, "All creatures on Earth will die alone." You know, it was, I tried to hear it, and it didn't truly sound like that, but it did to a degree. You definitely hear her talk about dying alone, but it's the first part you can't hear very well.
Well, it's almost like a premonition, because I didn't even think about that while watching it. It's a premonition of that's his fate. By the end of the movie, you kind of figure out what's going on, and when he's sitting in his bed, and then the jet engine crashes through the room, it's just like, oh, okay, so that makes sense. There's a lot of, I will say, the movie does a very good job of setting up the threads that really that pay off throughout at different points.
It layers quite a bit. It really does, and very nicely, I might add. It tells a story, and it's just literally a calm onion, and then it starts to unfold and unravel, and it kind of shows itself probably 3/4, like I'd say between an hour 45, 2 hours.
It's a way better glass onion. Yes, you're correct.
But you know, with this, you know, and I mean, you know, even talking about the ending, you know, he's essentially giving his life up for her. You know,
and that to me, I wanted to get your guys' opinion about that. Did he know going back in time? Well, did he know going back in time would save her, or is it just automatically he woke up from all this?
He was told that. You know, with this timeline, you weren't supposed to be here. You weren't supposed to be alive. You were not supposed to live. You were not supposed to meet. She was not supposed to be there and talk to you and see you and like you. She was supposed to go and do other things, and she was supposed to not be at that moment where she got killed. So you not being there at that specific moment, going back to that time, would you or would you not? Do you accept and keep the love you have for her and die alone? Or do you become selfish and choose her to die instead of you? Is basically, I think in different words, but put into the movie.
Like that's what I like about it. It's
it's a beautiful tragedy, literally.
It is, but it dives deeper into the feeling of if humans had the capability of time travel, and you knew that you had two paths, like, are you going to be selfish and take this route even though you know that she's going to die, or are you going to take the route that naturally you should have already died,
right?
And she may not remember you, she may not do anything like but you still got to keep those memories, but she's going to continue on the path that was destined for her. It's deep.
It is.
When you dig into it, it's deep.
It's a very deep.
In a weird way, I mean, and this is kind of more of a joke than anything else. This is kind of like a non-graphic version of Final Destination in a way, not without the
in a way,
in a more psychological approach of it.
Because I mean, dude, I think that would be one of the scariest things. Literally, just wake up one day, sleepwalk, get woken up, and literally a 6-foot dark bunny's just standing there, and it's some guy in a costume. You know that, but you don't know who. And I mean, if we get to listen to the parents' conversation about a guy named Frank that died back in high school going to prom, and it's kind of like, okay, is this Frank, like the Frank?
Yeah.
Or, what I mean? Is it just a coincidence on that?
I will say that the bunny costume is genuinely creepy. Like, if you watch this movie in a dark room and it just randomly shows up, you're just like, oh, damn.
Well, dude, look at the freaking thing right here. Look at this mask above the name Donnie Darko. That thing is legitimate. I mean, that thing's legitimately creepy. It's kind
very
of
disturbed.
If you even look at the character right there as well above Donnie, it's a very strange thing because it's simple, but the mask is what makes it. And
big teeth.
Big teeth. Honestly, I'm gonna say it makes it creepier because it's got human-like teeth.
Yeah.
And just how big the eyes are, the ears, and then the decrepitness of it.
Well, and that's in like if you look at the middle picture of like the mask itself, it looks honestly kind of demonic in a way.
No, for sure on that. And I mean, maybe that's even part of the Antichrist little quip he had towards Cunningham, for that matter, Jim Cunningham. I mean, Frank is a huge part of this, but at the same time isn't. Because I like one of the funniest scenes, I think, and it's kind of funny in a weird way, but it's dark humor, I guess, is the theater scene where they're just watching a movie and Frank's just and Frank's just sitting there messing with him. If I'm not mistaken, that's the first time he takes the mask off, isn't it?
Yeah,
or was it?
It is.
That's what I thought. And then you see, oh my
the
god.
Pole. And that's something I like. I don't understand how we got to that character, because I guess it's Elizabeth's boyfriend, his sister's boyfriend, right? That's what I read.
Huh.
Like I really didn't know who that character was supposed to represent until after Gretchen's death, and it's revealed that way. But like I guess I don't understand like how that character was chosen to be in the bunny outfit. I guess is my question. It's not really explained, I guess.
Another thing you can find out when you rewatch it.
Yeah, obviously.
It is revealed that Frank is Donnie's elder sister's boyfriend, who, while out on a beer run, accidentally runs over Donnie's girlfriend, Gretchen. Upon the side of this, he is shot in the eye by Donnie to avenge the death of Gretchen. So, yeah, basically he was the one who killed Gretchen, maybe by accident and all that, but nonetheless,
Oh, in that alternate reality that he's trying to tell him to go away from.
Yeah.
Because
literally.
So not only if Donnie dies naturally in the way he's supposed to, is Gretchen still alive, but the boyfriend is still alive because he doesn't get shot by Donnie.
Yep.
Okay.
He can have his merry beer run and chill from there.
Yeah. Was this your guys' first time seeing or knowing who Jake Gyllenhaal was? It wasn't for me. I mean, he actually did. You made a joke earlier, Ed, but they came out the same year as Bubble Boy, actually. But I didn't see Jake Gyllenhaal until the day after tomorrow, so that was like my first experience with him.
I think Bubble Boy was mine. I do think Bubble Boy was mine, and I think that was more like 02 or 03. This might have been either 03 or 04 for me. Yeah. And then Day After Tomorrow
was 2004, 2005.
I think 05 when
it came out in 04, but like when you first saw it, it was probably 05.
Yeah.
What about you, Craig?
Kind of funny.
Mine was not. This wasn't the first time I'd seen him because it was so late. I think like the first big thing that I remember him in, like you see him and you're like, oh, that's the guy that played Bubble Boy. That's the guy that was Brokeback Mountain.
Oh, shit.
I was just like,
okay.
Like,
that guy.
Dude is massive, and he's been in this film, Donnie Darko. Oh shit, that's the guy that I've been seeing for 10 years. So
yeah.
And I mean, this guy, Jake Gyllenhaal, I think all of us can say he's, not only a phenomenal actor, but he's been in some movies, obviously, even before Donnie Darko, Jarhead, October Sky, The Day After Tomorrow, Brokeback Mountain,
dude,
Zodiac.
Jarhead. Oh my god.
I figured you like that one, Ed.
Well, it's Jarhead, this one, Southpaw. Oh my god.
Oh, Prisoners, we reviewed last year. End of Watch. You remember that movie Source Code where he had to it was kind of like the timeline thing?
Oh.
I thought that was pretty good.
Another time movie.
And it's just, I've always liked Jake Gyllenhaal, so anytime he shows up, I'll pretty much watch anything. I thought it was interesting that in order to save money, they just hired his real sister Maggie to play the part.
I did not know about that until probably 2013 or so.
Yeah.
Honestly, I really didn't. I was already grown basically by that time, and I was just like, huh. And to this day, funny enough, I've never seen S. Darko. To this day, I thought about it.
I was going to ask about that. Is that I've never seen it either, but is that the little sister Samantha?
Yes.
Is that her story?
Yes, it is a story about her.
Is she traumatized by the same thing, or is it something different?
Dude, I don't know. I don't know. I know it's about her.
Okay.
As far as I know, she could go through the same thing. She could be going through PTSD from her brother dying. She could be visited by Frank for kind of the same things.
It's like the Matrix Reanimated or Reanimation. It's been out since the same time as the movies, but you've never seen it.
No one cares. Yeah. In 2001, 2021, director Richard Kelly said he did announce that he is working on a new sequel. So I don't know if it's going to be a requel that's like directly to the original film or what, but I guess he's in the process of making another one.
Look at you. Heck yeah, man. So yeah, I might actually have, if that comes out when I hear about it, I might actually have a reason to watch S. Darko, to be honest.
Yeah.
Nothing against it or anything like that, because I think Maggie Gyllenhaal does play in it, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't know. Just never got around to it, man.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Craig. It's just like, the reanimate and Matrix. You're just like, what? Why? Like, why would we do this?
Like I've had time and time again to watch that movie, just like I've had time and time again to watch S. Darko, and I just haven't pulled the trigger.
It slips. Yeah. It just slips away.
It's like, why would I watch S. Darko when I can just rewatch Donnie Darko?
Yeah, I agree. Is there any other characters? Outside of Donnie, I also like I like Gretchen. I feel like we kind of get like a general sense of what her story is, but like I would have liked a little bit more interaction because I thought they had good chemistry between Jake and Jenna Malone.
Yeah, I think they do a pretty good job of kind of painting the picture of what her past has been. But yeah, maybe they could have spent another 5 or 6 minutes on it, and you would have been able to really see like her history.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think just her and Jake were solid in it.
Yeah.
I'll go with them too.
I'll say I'll go on a limb and say Drew Barrymore's character, who played pull her up, Karen Pomeroy. I've had so many teachers and professors in my days of school and college that they've always tried to push like
their agenda.
Questionable material. No, well, I don't want to say their agenda, but like questionable material to make you think outside the box of, is this good? Is this bad? Like, what do you really think about that? Those type teachers.
Yeah.
I thought she played the part well, as little as she's in the movie. So, and then Patrick Swayze. I mean, we talked about doing a top 5 Patrick Swayze. I haven't seen enough of his movies to do that. I'm going to be honest. And so, I mean, I think he's good in here. He plays the part of, like you said, Ed, like the douchey, scary looking dude who clearly has an agenda or whatever.
It's just, he gives off that creep vibe, and I mean, I don't think Patrick Swayze gives it off. It's the character he plays definitely does.
That's the way it's the way the character's written.
Kind of conundrum, but yeah, man, it's kind of a funny thing. I would say more the parents, because they're almost oblivious, but at the same time not, because it's kind of like the point where the mother goes and is talking to the father, and I mean, they're joking. After a minute you find out they're joking, but they're like, there should be consequences for telling a woman to shove something up her ass, and I mean, no, it's not a fun thing, but it's a great thing to say, but at the same time, like, look, you can take your opinion and shove it. Same thing. But then, the father or the mother's like, well, maybe we should get a divorce, kind of thing. And they start kind of laughing and smiling at each other. But it's almost like they give in to his debauchery and his BS, for that matter.
Well,
yeah.
Because of the therapeutic sessions as well as the medication he's on, it's almost like a get out of jail free card in a way.
I kind of look at it as the opposite. I feel like the dad he's the one that's oblivious. He's kind of going with like when Jake Gyllenhaal calls out the teacher and tells to shove the book up the butt and everything. He's laughing. He's not really being the father figure he should be. And I feel like the mother, she doesn't know how to take on that situation.
I think she saves face more than anything, and I think the father is still kind of just like, not oblivious. Maybe oblivious is the wrong word, but kind of aloof at some of the things. And I know that's still in the.
What movie did we just go over where the dad was the same exact way? What movie was that? God, because there was a movie where like the father is so just nonchalant about everything. But this one, it's almost like he understands what it's like to be a teenage boy. He understands those situations, so he's not going to take anything out of proportion because he's been there, done that.
He knows the stupidity, because I mean, I'm sure all three of us have done something kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Such as a prank or some dumb thing. I mean, I don't know if you ever knew about this, but me riding around in a trunk on that side of town, messing with people. I mean, it was stupid to do. It's funny, and looking back, it's still funny. But
you can do it. Time, can't do it now.
No. Looking back, it was definitely stupid to do. But
was it Halloween 4? Was that it? That was a while ago, but wasn't there a dad that was kind of oblivious about everything?
I think that's the one. Yeah. Because we had talked about it in that movie where it's like everybody else is like aware of what's going on and they're, just
trying to survive, and they're just like,
and the dad's just like, yeah, it's all right. Whatever. Yeah.
All right, guys, let's do favorite scene. Is there Ed, you want to start us off? Is there a moment in the film that just kind of like says, "Yeah, this is why I like this film so much"? Besides the whole 120 minutes.
I mean, honestly, man, it's funny about that, but I like the entire movie. It's hard to actually pick. I mean, I like the between. I was wrong actually. Just earlier, I looked it up, and Maggie is playing Elizabeth, the elder sister, not
Not
the
Sam.
youngest sister.
Yeah.
Correct. But either way, the interaction between those two, the whole kind of investigation into who is doing what to the school and other things. The dude, I mean, honestly, it's kind of I'd say the last bit of it when he lays down and just is there.
Accept his fate, yeah.
Just because of the gravity, the significance, and the meaning of that scene. Literally giving your life, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, even and I know this may get some flack, but this is a real saying. Saying I'd take a bullet for you is one thing, saying I'd die for you is one thing. But even like Jared Leto's Joker goes, I don't want you to die for me. I want you to live.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that has a significance in a lot of different points because dying, I'm not saying is easy, but dying kind of gives everything up for you. Living is harder, but at the same time, knowing that you know everything about what just happened as well as they will not, I think is one of the hardest decisions to make. And I mean, not literally dying, but the decision itself is a hard thing to make because it's like, okay, if I give up my life, this person's going to be fine. This person should, love someone else, have someone else's kids, grow old with someone else. It's like that whole giving up of that. So that would be mine.
What about you, Craig?
I like the movie theater scene where they're all sitting there together. And I like the scene where he has the axe and you kind of see Frank behind him. Dude. And then, he ends up on the golf course. Just kind of those scenes where it's like the sleepwalking scenes. I'll go with that. The sleepwalking scenes.
I will say the cubic stare is used so much in this, it's not even funny. The kind of cocked down and just looking forward, it's used a lot.
When he's kind of just sitting there and then he starts
zoning out.
Yeah.
I'll say I think the strongest points of this film is the thriller aspects, whether it be especially with Frank, where he's just like you said, Ed, where he's just doing the stare and he's kind of stabbing the force field. It's like, why are you wearing that stupid mask? It's just like the overall genuinely creepiness of like the situation.
That exchange of lines right there is probably my favorite dialogue in this entire movie. Why are you wearing that stupid bunny suit? Why are you wearing that stupid man suit? Like, I mean, I know it's not.
Yeah, it's deep, but it's just hysterical the way he says it.
The delivery is great.
Yeah,
but
and I'll say, with him and Gretchen, those scenes, I think they really stand out, and I could have used more of that in the movie. So,
do y'all have any favorite song for that matter?
I don't. What about you, Craig?
What's the one?
The most famous one from it, Mad World.
Yes, I mean that one's good, but there's just they're all like good in the parts that they're used in the film. So I'll say that. I just think that the direction and the tone of the music that they used for the film was all very fitting.
Yeah. Fair.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Moment of truth. I think I have a good idea of what this movie is going to get, but star rating. Craig, we'll start with you.
I do love this movie, but I don't think it is perfect. So I'm going to go 9.
Zach, You there? Did we lose you?
Zach glitched out.
Uh-oh. 3,
Zachy. All right, Ed. What about you?
Man, I agree 100% with you. There's a few things that could have probably been better. Oh, there he is.
I'm sorry, Craig. What'd you give it? I'm sorry, I cut out.
Yeah. So I love the movie. I think there's a lot of great things in the movie. I just don't think it's a perfect movie, so I'm going to give it a 9.
Okay. What about you, Ed?
Same thing. I would give it a 9. It's definitely not perfect. Being one of my favorite movies, personally, I'm giving it a 10. But at the same time, kind of understanding how a film goes together and all that good stuff, I'm going to say a 9 officially, just because I know there's probably some things that could have been a little more worked out.
Yeah.
Doesn't let it go away from my favorite movie though. So,
but at the same time, this movie having its rough moments also sort of helps it.
Adds to its character.
Yeah.
I think so as well.
All right. I guess I'll be the jerk in the group. I'm gonna give it a 7. It's not because it's a bad movie or anything like that. It's a film that I think it's really well made. The performances are very good. The psychological drama is very engaging. It's not a film that I want to go back to. Like, to be honest, I haven't. Last time I saw this was almost 10 years ago, to be completely honest. So, when he said you wanted to do it, I was just like, all right, we'll give it. I'll give it a shot. I'll watch it again. But I will say this, because it's been so long, it worked a little bit more in my favor, because when the actual explosion happened in the house, when the jet engine, it got me. Like, I actually jumped in my seat while I was watching it. So,
dude, I know, I forgot how that actually went, for that matter.
The sound design of it really, really worked.
Yep.
So yeah, 9, 10, 9 for Ed, and I'm gonna give it a 7. So that's our review of Donnie Darko. Ed, does it finally feel good to finally talk about this movie?
It does. About one of my favorites, for that matter, for sure. It's kind of a cool thing just to get to know other people's aspects of it, whether they really like it as well, whether they like it decently and find it intriguing or whatever. Hey, give it a shot. That's all I ask, and go from there.
I think this is one of those movies from the early 2000s that it's just like, it flew under the radar so significantly, that it when you finally get around to watching it, wherever you are, whether it was 10 years, 11 years, whatever later for me, could be 20 years for people who just watched it now. It's a movie where you're either gonna really enjoy it, and it's going to be one of your favorite movies of all time, just because of how much it makes you think and the kind of layers to it. Yeah. Or you're going to be like, you know what? It's good. It's creepy. It's going to be just kind of, you're going to be on really high on it, or you're going to give it about a 7. I don't think this movie is bad enough to where
it's definitely, for me, it's kind of 50-50. I get why people like it, but I don't get it. It's type thing.
So let me ask you this: do you think it made its money, or do you think it flopped? Basically, did not make its money back.
I think the fact that this is such a huge cult film since its release, I would probably, it'd be safe to assume that it didn't get its money back.
So it was budgeted for $4.5 million. It made $7.5 million. So it almost doubled itself, but it's still technically a flop, because Darko made $10 million. So I mean, it did get its money back, plus almost, like I said, almost doubling, for that matter, $1.5 million more and double. But it wasn't much.
Out of the sales, I guarantee you are
way
more than Darko.
Aftermath,
absolutely.
for sure. And Darko, I think, is a bit hard to find, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Well, guys, we're going to wrap up here in a quick second, but just as a reminder, next week, guys, we're talking about Ghost, another Patrick Swayze movie. It's Valentine's Day, so let's do a romantic movie. I've never seen it. Have you guys ever seen it before?
I
Never
have.
seen.
What?
You have that?
I've seen it a few times.
I don't really care.
I get it.
Like everybody's like, "Oh, Patrick Swayze, Dirty Dancing."
Yeah.
Dude, Roadhouse, bro. Roadhouse.
Yeah.
I was just like, okay.
I mean, I guess, you know.
I will say this Dirty Dancing, or I'm sorry. Oh my God. Friggin' Ghost is kind of more famous or mostly famous for one scene in particular.
The water scene?
That's
the water scene?
No. It's a pottery scene.
Oh,
where he's
Yeah.
Oh God,
yeah.
I don't want to watch this movie.
Well, Greg, if you don't want to watch,
what if he does the water bucket? What is that?
I mean, other than parodies, I don't remember exactly, but there's quite a few.
Other than what's the one with Ted Lasso and Jennifer Aniston?
Oh, we're the Millers.
They do it in We're the
Millers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I know you don't want to. I know you're not excited about that, Craig. But here in 2 weeks, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. We go back to the theaters to check out the latest Marvel movie. And then Ed, we're ending the month with one of your other favorite movies, The Princess Bride.
That and an old friend has been requesting this for like 2.5, 3 years.
Yeah, so we finally get to do that.
Specifically, this old friend of mine said that I can't take you seriously until you do this movie. Literally.
Well, we're going to do it here in a couple weeks. So
I'm like...
Gotcha. Well, guys, that's going to wrap it up for us. Like you said, any last Super Bowl picks? I think, Ed, you're going to go with the Chiefs?
No,
Craig,
I'm going with the Eagles.
Oh, you're going with the Eagles? Craig, you're going with the Chiefs?
He's torn. He's torn.
Give me the Chiefs.
There it is.
I'm gonna go with the Chiefs too. So I guess next Monday we'll find out who ultimately comes out on top.
Yes, sir.
All right, Ed. You got anything else to say for the final nail for Donnie Darko?
Man, live your life. Don't live in fear and love. Just live your life. Fear and love is just
just a game.
Just aspects of life.
Don't be a creepy weirdo.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, for sure on that.
Well, guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening in. We'll be back next week with Ghost. And until then, have a safe, fun week. Take care of each other. And we will be back next week on the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. Bye, guys.
Later.